is, thank you. Welcome again to Reconnect, a retreat within. The intention of this gathering is to give you an opportunity to ground into your own foundation as you move through this new year, 2022. We have four presenters today sharing a bit of their own magic and medicine around their individual skill sets. We hope you will feel calm and peaceful as we rest, learn, and grow together over the next couple of hours. Before I get going, I'd like to give a brief rundown of the schedule. I will be presenting first. My name is Morgan Melody, and I will be sharing the gift of presence through sound alchemy. Followed by me, we have Emily Ryman, educate and empower yourself with the 5 elements. Next, we have Abby Rose Wolf, envision and embody your dream life. And to close us out, we have Carlin Langyar, surrender as a reclamation to your personal power and freedom. Each of the presenters will let you know how you can interact with them as they present, but feel free to ask any questions or comment in the chat box. So I will go ahead and get going with my presentation, which is a little sound bath for you. I would like to explain the word alchemy. So it's a seemingly magical power or process of transmuting, and transmuting is a shift in energy in this case. And so without giving you too many words and explanations, just gonna keep it short and sweet. And I'd like to ground us into this space with a little meditation, breathwork meditation. And then I'll go ahead and share the sound. And I just really want to give you the opportunity to just feel into your body and be in this moment. And just, it's kind of like a way to practice just being present. And my personal experience with sound has been life-changing and very much transformative as I've been on my own healing journey. So I hope that you can have a taste of that as I share. I do this intuitively, so I kind of let the instruments guide me in what I share. I have crystal singing bowls. I've got an array of different instruments that I'll be playing, and I may feel called to sing. Sometimes that happens. I don't know for sure, so we'll see what happens on that. But okay, go ahead and just take a deep breath and drop the focus to your heart space. Allow the breath to be felt here. Bring a hand to rest on the heart and adjust the touch so it is light and a nourishing gesture. Begin to tune into the energy being released from the palm of the hand. Notice the exchange of heat from the palm of the hand warming the heart. Allow the heart to respond to the warmth of this connection. Let it soften and expand. Give it permission to open to care, open to love. Now imagine a tiny drop of golden light falling from the center of the palm into the center of the heart. From this tiny speck of glistening light, a sunrise is born. Feel the sun rising in your heart. An optimistic sunrise bathed in the excitement of a new day, new beginning, brightening and widening your horizons. The warmth of unconditional love and self confidence is woven on the beams of light that spread in all directions, casting light, excitement, and inspiration in the dawn of this new day. The rays of pure energy move up into your mind, switching on a childlike sense of wonder in the world again. The golden beams move down into your belly, igniting a courage and strength to carve out your own path. The sunrise grows brighter, filling your arms and legs in preparation for the upcoming adventure that is your one wild and precious life. The light grows, brings a glow to your face. It moves into the and illuminates all the cracks and corners of your being. The rays of light begin to draw back to the heart now. But tiny flecks of gold stars are left glistening around the body. The sparks to light the flame of your next adventure. And with that, I'll go ahead and get going with our sound. You can keep your eyes closed if you like, or you can watch. like to invite you to go ahead and take a deep breath in. And begin to have awareness around your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Come back into this space. We have just a couple more minutes before I will go ahead and turn the time over to Emily. I just want to thank you for joining me in this. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I just really wanted to give you an opportunity to just be present in the now, with whatever you've got going on, just to be able to immerse yourself in sound. This is a great way to, if you're ever feeling, I don't know, for me, when I'm feeling any kind of funkiness, I find myself drawn to the drum, and I'll just allow myself to cry or express or just beat on that drum really hard and just let out whatever needs to come out. The different instruments can assist in different things, and so I hope you got to have a little taste of that today. So without further ado, I will go ahead and turn the time over to Emily, and thank you for being here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Morgan, for bringing us into this space with this beautiful energy, the beautiful sound healing, and just having so much grace. Like, I felt so much grace when you were playing. So, thank you for bringing us all into the present moment. And as Morgan mentioned, I'll be talking today about the five elements as according to Chinese medicine. And for some of you, it may be a lot of information. For some of you, it may be too little information. So, just know that this is a brief overview, and taking a moment to trust that whatever information you receive is what you're meant to hear. So, with that being said, oh, you're having a hard time hearing me, Joe? Okay, I'll come a little bit closer to the screen. Good? Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. And okay, Cindy, is this better if I come a little bit closer? Good? Okay. All right. Just bear with me for a moment as I share. Okay. So first, I'll just give a brief introduction about me. My name is Emily Ryman, and I'm an intuitive energy healer. I'm a licensed acupuncturist who infuses my background in spirituality, yoga, and a lifelong passion for learning into my sessions. I believe that pain and discomfort in the body are messages and a desire for deeper understanding, connection, and healing. I guide my patients to bring increased awareness to how they live and interact with their body as well as with the world around them. I believe that we become more empowered as individuals when we have knowledge of different perspectives on health and healing. Ultimately, I believe that we are the ones who know our body best, and I support individuals in developing a closer relationship to theirs. Today, I'll be giving a brief introduction to the five elements as according to Chinese medicine and how they relate to the internal organs, emotions, and seasons. So, in Chinese medicine, we have the five elements of fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. These elements are not only used to describe the natural world around us, but are also applied to the inner workings of humans as well. Just like in nature, we go through seasons like the seasons. We go through cycles just like the seasons. Nature is outside of us, but also within. By understanding how the elements interact with each other, we can better understand how we operate as well. Each of the elements are paired to a number of correspondences. Today, I'll be discussing the organs, emotions, and seasons associated with each element, as well as the archetypes associated with each. Each of the elements are equally important. They are interdependent, but they also rely on one another. One cannot exist without the other. So, the first element I'll be talking about is the element of fire. In Chinese medicine, the element of fire is associated with the heart and small intestine organs, as well as the pericardium and what is called the triple warmer or sanjiao. We can see this in the warmth that the heart provides by pumping blood throughout our system. And we can easily see how heat in the small intestine can result in inflammatory conditions such as colitis or irritable bowel syndrome. The pericardium, which is the envelope around the heart, is considered the heart protector, while the triple warmer is a more esoteric concept in Chinese medicine, which I'm not going to be going too much into depth with about today. The heart is associated with the emotion of joy, which, when in balance, is a healthy expression. But too much fire or joy can be considered excessive and may result in anxiety and nervousness. In nature, the element of fire is considered the mother of earth. The earth was created from the ashes of fire as well as from the decomposition from the sun. Personally, I love this analogy because it reminds me of the phoenix rising from the ashes. It represents new birth from destruction. The archetype associated with fire is the wizard or the comedian, both of which make sense, for the wizard possesses the ability to transform, and the comedian is the personification of joy. The season associated with fire is summer, a time for expression and momentum. Next, we have the earth element, which is associated with the spleen and stomach organs. We can see this in the nourishment that the food from the earth provides in order to sustain life, just as the spleen and stomach are involved in the digestion, which fuels metabolic processes within the body. The spleen is associated with the emotion of worry or pensiveness. Too much worry can result in sluggish digestion, not just of how we digest food, but also in how we digest information. Therefore, that could lead to a cloudy mind or trouble remembering information. In nature, the element of earth is the mother of metal. Metal is created from the compression and the center of the earth, while the rocks of the earth produce the minerals that make up metal. The archetype is a teacher or a counselor, so the ultimate motherly and calming energy that nurtures and cares for us. The season associated with the earth is late summer. So this is a time of ripeness and harvestation. So next we have the element of metal, which is associated with the lungs and large intestine organs. In this instance, we can think of the metal element as similar to air, from which we receive oxygen or the breath of life. The lungs also release carbon dioxide, a waste gas, so they have a relationship with letting go. So we can see this also in the large intestine, which is involved with releasing waste and letting go of what our body no longer needs. The lungs are associated with the emotion of grief. They store sadness when it is in excess. So you can think of this in terms of the heaviness that is felt with deep sadness, or even that sobbing that you can feel in the lungs when you cry. In nature, the element of metal is the mother of water. Water is held by metal. As a solid, metal provides the foundation for the mountains and beds in which streams flow. And as a liquid, it is like water and its minerals compose it. The archetype is one of a queen or an alchemist. It is associated with the transformation of metal into substantial abundance or everlasting life. The season associated with metal is fall, a time for letting go and releasing what no longer serves us. Our next element is the element of water, which is related to the kidneys and urinary bladder. So we can see this in the relationship the kidneys have with their role in transforming water in the body and the bladder's job in holding and then releasing it. The kidneys are associated with the emotion of fear or the body's fight or flight response. The sympathetic nervous system stimulates the adrenal glands, which sit on top of the kidneys, to release a number of hormones, including adrenaline. In nature, the element of water is the mother of wood. Wood is produced by the moisture and rain of water. From water, trees are irrigated and given life. The archetype is a philosopher or a baby. It is wise and introspective, yet can easily be molded and change shape. The season associated with water is winter. which is a time for deep reflection and turning inward. And then our fifth element is the element of wood, which is associated with the liver and gallbladder organs. In Chinese medicine, the liver is attributed with the purpose of governing the free flow of qi, which is energy throughout the body, and has the ability to expand in all directions, while the gallbladder is associated with decisiveness and purpose. When healthy, wood is incredibly supple and strong and can grow in all directions with that purpose. The liver is associated with the emotion of anger. Because the liver is associated with the free flow of energy, when anger is not healthily expressed, it becomes repressed and instead is expressed in outbursts. In nature, the element of wood is the mother of fire. Fire is produced from the burning of wood. So wood feeds fire and it creates it. The archetype is one of a pioneer or a warrior. It is innovative and strong. And the season associated with wood is spring, a time for new growth and expansion. So this is also an important reminder that all of the emotions, when healthy, are healthy and expressed. There's no one that's better or worse or right or wrong. We need the healthy expression of all of our emotions. So here I have an image of that generating cycle, or that mother and child cycle. So again, fire is the mother of earth. Earth is the mother of metal. Metal is the mother of water, and water is the mother of wood, and wood is the mother of fire. But we also have what's called the controlling cycle. So basically the five elements work together to sort of keep each other in check and harmony. So in this motherly cycle, if there's not enough fire, the earth element will suffer. And you can see that when you look at each one of the elements and their relationships to each other. And then in terms of the controlling cycle, we see the arrows in the center, and we see that fire controls metal, metal controls wood, wood controls earth, earth controls water, and water controls fire. So when we look at fire controlling metal, we can think of how fire is used to heat and mold metal ore. And metal controls wood. So we can think of that as like a blade of an axe that's used to chop wood and break it up. Wood controls earth. Wood is used to mold the earth like a dam. Earth controls water. The dam determines where water flows. And water controls fire. It keeps it in check. Too much water can diminish the flame, yet not enough allows a fire to blaze uncontrollably. So this was just a really brief introduction. I kind of flew through this a lot faster than I thought I would, but there's references on here, so you can actually go online and do a quiz to see which element you are predominant in. So everybody has a constitutional element that they're usually more, they have more of that element within themselves. So this is just information that we use in treatment to determine the best course of action. And for more information about me, you can also connect with me either through my website or my Instagram. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'm going to take the screen off share and we can talk a little bit more. So did everybody hear me okay? Good. So I'd love to hear if anybody has any questions, or maybe hear what element you think you resonate with most. Carlin, you have a question?
Sure. I have a question, and perhaps because I've studied a lot of yoga, and yoga uses Ayurveda, which also brings in air as well as ether. It incorporates them into the elements, and I'm curious as to why traditional Chinese medicine doesn't use air, or is it just an interplay of other elements?
Yeah, I always think of air more as metal because metal relates to the lung system, which has a relationship with governing respiration. So I always think of metal as an equivalent to the air element.
And then just another question, when you reference the seasons, so right now in the Northern Hemisphere, we're in winter, so we're experiencing water, but the Southern Hemisphere is experiencing summer. So would they actually be with fire right now?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. I think it depends on where you are.
cool, thank you.
I have a question about wood.
Yeah. Oh, you unmuted. What's your question?
Should I,
Joe, you had a question about wood?
No, that wasn't me that said that. I do have a question, but it wasn't me that asked about the wood.
Oh, okay. Was that Lucia?
so just very quickly, I wasn't sure how to use this, but yeah, this is Lucia. I have a question about wood. I identify with wood so much in my life, and specifically trees. And when you think about those who really feel close to wood, can I ask, when those people get out of balance, like this last year has been kind of an out of balance year, what do you think shows up? Thank you.
Sure. So what shows up when their wood is out of balance? Lucia?
Yes, that's right.
So is there something specific that you're thinking of?
Well, emotionally, during the crazy times that we're living in right now, emotionally, uh, I've had a hard time keeping myself on the sort of the even keel that I want to be. And I've had to go to more tools in my tool bag to keep my emotions the way I want them to be. And I just wondered, when you think about wood people getting out of balance, what pops up in your mind is how it can express itself.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of times wood really likes to overact on earth. So wood is very controlling. So and most people in our society are generally have a wood earth imbalance. I see it a lot, especially where I live, close to the metropolitan area. So um, wood can be very controlling. It wants things to be a certain way, and when it's not, it's like it's upset. So it definitely has an effect on the emotions because liver is in charge of governing the free flow throughout the whole body. So it will affect everything else. So that's with each of the elements. If one element is in a state of disharmony, it's going to affect everything else. So it's really figuring out what the root cause of it is. Um, so it can definitely manifest in quite a few ways. The thing that I see most in in my practice is like digestive disorders resulting from an overactive wood element. So wood can like over control the earth element, so it affects your digestion. Does that answer your
And then
question?
it was very helpful, thank you. And does it make sense that I sort of gravitate towards wood um, in uh, in my work and working with wood from old barns? I don't want to take too much time, but
It's
uh,
okay.
I gravitate towards the wood, and when I'm with the wood and the old barns and in the trees, then I feel more balanced. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Yeah, so I would say you're probably weak in your wood element actually, because you're craving to be near it. So that to me tells me there's a an intuitive desire to strengthen your wood element.
Well, that's very helpful. Thank you so much.
Sure, you're welcome.
Can I ask as well? Actually, Lucia just literally took all of the words out of my mouth, and I'm also really drawn to wood and being in the trees. up the trees. And I wanted to ask, so you said that like, could you change that with the diet that you have?
Mhm.
Like, how would that sort of affect, like, what could you be eating to sort of balance that out?
So if generally what the liver, if you are overactive in your wood, I generally recommend like drinking chamomile or dandelion tea because it's very soothing to the liver. But there are certain
Uh,
foods like more like astringent foods, so like celery juice, like
oh,
soy, so like astringent greens that sort of help detoxify the liver and the wood element and sort of like ease it. So like so foods that say, like for instance, earth, like the spleen really loves sweet things. So maybe you notice like
mm,
studying and learning, you're craving something sweet because your
always.
body actually needs that sweet thing
Mm,
to function.
yeah.
And but if you have too much sweet, it makes the spleen really damp and congested. So you can see that maybe in people who like have like puffy faces, puffy skin.
Hmm.
Um, and then so like you would want to astringe that. So with the liver you want to do like more greens, the dandelion tea, chamomile tea, because that's really soothing. So I didn't really get into this also, but like each element relates to a body part as well.
Yeah.
So if the liver relates to the eyes, so that's another way to tell like which element maybe might be predominant or a little bit weak. So a lot of people who have like floaters, poor night vision, need to nourish their wood because it can become dry. So yeah,
This is
there's a lot
so,
of different ways to look
yeah,
at it. Yeah.
it's so interesting, Emily, because actually I've been doing the celery juice detox, which is 16 ounces of celery juice every morning on an empty stomach. It's absolutely revolting. But I've done maybe 3 of them now, and every time I do it for maybe 7 to 10 days. And normally after about day 5, my friends are like, oh my God, Joe, your skin, your eyes. So it's very interesting because I can get a little bit puffy and I do reach for the sweeter tooth thing. So that's so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting and complex system, and
Mm,
any sort of like bogged down, it creates stagnation. So, and that can be physically, it can be emotionally. So if you're like really worrying a lot, so that was again related with the earth element, or if you're like
mm,
overthinking and over worrying, then the liver is going to be affected because of that control cycle. So
yeah.
then the liver needs that help to like get things to move. So yeah, what you said makes perfect sense.
So basically I can still climb trees, but I have to drink celery juice.
I mean, it's always good to treat internally as well as externally. So it's both.
Mm,
And this is, this goes into like yin and yang theory.
yeah,
You can't have one without the other. So it's, and our inner world is just a reflection of the outer world and vice versa. So by addressing one or the other, it's not either or. I would say do both, and really listen to your body too, because
yeah,
you'll know how long you need to do it for. And if it gets to a point, where you're starting to feel like resistance to wanting to drink that juice, then I would say
yeah,
wait, because your body will intuitively tell you once it's
absolutely.
when it gets to a point of harmony.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have any questions? We have a few more minutes. I'll share a little bit more information on the fly if you'd like. So the wood element has to do with the eyes, as well as the ligaments and tendons and sinews. So you want the wood to be nourished, so you have like soft and supple movement of the joints, or like the tendons. Um, Earth has to do with the muscles, so that's why too, like if someone who eats a lot of sugar might feel like really achy, and when it rains, they feel it in their muscles because there's a lot of dampness in the air, so then it affects their muscles. The water element has to do with the bones. So kidney has a relationship with the bones, which makes a lot of sense as you get older. A lot of people develop osteoporosis because their bones begin to degenerate. Um, and um, I'm blanking on fire at the moment, but metal has to do with the skin. So because the lungs have to do with like respiration and air, it has a relationship with emanating that into the skin. So so say that someone has a lot of skin issues, then you look at the lung first, um, as well as like dry skin as well. Any other questions? Was that a wave or a question, Abby? Oh, okay, a wave. All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. And yeah, if anything sparked your interest, feel free to reach out. And there's so much information out there about the 5 elements. And yeah, I'm always happy to answer questions to the best of my ability as well. Um, I'm trying to think if there was anything else, but I feel like that was all the information. Yeah, Abby.
I'm gonna ask, yeah, because you mentioned this was really interesting about the wood, and if you're craving wood, then you're weak in that. I feel like I crave water a lot, so it was just really revealing to know that perhaps I'm weak in the water element.
Yeah. Or you may have something that's overactive too.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think you use a lot of wood energy. So you're just naturally asking for that because water is the mother of wood. So you use a lot of wood energy. So you probably just need that encouragement from the water. So that
Oh,
makes sense.
oh, cool.
Yeah. So I would definitely recommend there's the learnthefiveelements.com and you can go on there and take a quiz and find out which your constitution and it can actually change as well. So like I know for me when I was in grad school, like my earth element because I was studying so much was really affected. But now that I'm out of school, it's strengthened. So and it's also like something that I worked on after doing that. So it can change. You're not, yes, you're born a certain constitution, but it can also be changed, as we said, through diet, through lifestyle, through awareness. And so I kind of like that because human beings are dynamic. They're not one thing for their whole life. We can change and we can go into this. And it can also depend on the season too. You might feel more in tune with your fire energy during the summer because that's when the fire element is at its strongest. So it's normal to dip in and out of different ones and to use different elements to sort of manifest different things. So, all right, so I'm going to turn it over to Abby. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Morgan. So I'm going to be using, thank you. I'm going to share my screen, but before we begin, since I'm just like a lover of movement, I think since we've been sitting for an hour now, we can maybe get up and shake our bodies around a little bit. So I encourage you to stand up and start just shaking your body. Like shake your head, start with your head, even wiggle your nose, your lips, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your wrists. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your chest, shake your boobies, shake your booty, shake your belly, shake your knees, shake, 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 jiggle, 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 jiggle. Just keep it up, just letting all that stagnant energy just wipe away. Shake, shake, shake. And now, if you will, bring your arms up on the inhale, reach up really high, and exhale, bring it down. And let yourself release. We'll do it again. Reach up really high, inhale, and exhale. Just release in any way you feel. One more time, we'll do 3. I love the number 3. Inhale up, and exhale. And one more thing we'll do is just send love to your body. So rub your body, maybe rub your head, and just thank yourself. Thank your body. Thank you, body. Rub your shoulders and your arms. Rub your whole body up and down, awaken all the parts of your body. I love the sound effects, Alicia. And yeah, just send some love to yourself. Thank you, body. Thank you for all the things you do for me. You get me around, and I love you so, 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 so much. All right. Okay. I welcome you to come back to the computer screen or your phone. All right. And I will begin to share my screen. Let's see here. Give me one moment. Oh boy. All right, here we go. In one moment. What's going on? Present. Okay, cool. Here it is. That's me. I am Abby Rose Wolf. I am a connection and celebration guide. I'm also a dance facilitator and a fitness instructor. And I guide the disconnected back to their inner light through a deeper connection with oneself, Mother Nature, spirit guides, and to also celebrate through play and expression. I do this with meditation, music, movement, and quantum healing. And today I'll be talking about envisioning and embodying your dream life through a guided meditation. Okay, so my intention for today is to ignite some play, have some fun, and also assist you in envisioning and embodying what you want your dream life to look like and feel like. And so then you can make decisions that will bring you closer to that life. So the way this is going to work, I'm going to guide you through a meditation where I invite you to intentionally live your dream life in your mind as if you already live that life in detail. You'll be utilizing your senses, so touch, sound, smell, emotion, sight. Just notice it all. Go as deep as you can. Allow yourself to, at least. Okay. Whoa, this is weird. One second. Just click. Oh, cool. Okay. So there are multiple ways to do this. I'm sure, how many of you have done a vision board before? Raise your hands. Yeah, cool. They're a pretty popular way of doing this. Yeah, awesome. So this is one I made in November. So there's multiple ways to do this. And when I was thinking about what to present for this Reconnect Summit, I thought of doing envisioning and embodying your dream life. And sure, as synchronicity works, it seemed like everybody around me was hosting vision board things or like sharing their vision board. And I was like, this is so awesome. And so usually whenever I see these things, or whatever I teach, I need to know the most or need to like focus on the most in my life. And so I'm also doing that in my life as well. So I'll give you an example of a really cool story of a vision video experience I did. So I made this video. I found all these different images online and I made a compilation of a video of all these images and then that were resonant with my dream life. And I was working on a farm in October in Oregon, and I happened to look at all these plants, and I was like, that was the exact image of one of my images in the video. And then it just hit me that I had probably experienced most of those images within that year. And so I really believe this stuff works. And I also did the same thing for a dance spot recently. So I host ecstatic dances in Madison, Wisconsin. And there's a couple places they were all right, but then I was envisioning what this place would be. And sure enough, again, synchronicity as it works like magic, I was guided to the most like idyllic place for dance. So I'm super excited. And this is also how athletes win their races, right? So the athletes, they visualize running the race, they can feel their body and their obstacles and they can overcome them. And they feel the sweat, their heartbeat, and the push to the finish line in first place. It's like they see it happening before it happens, which is why it ends up happening. And so this is kind of what we're going to be doing today. So why do this? Why is this important? So envisioning and embodying your dream life is important because if we don't know where we're going, how can we get there? Right? And if we don't know what we want, how can we get it? So to actually give yourself the time to envision and embody it, you'll be more likely to come up with the steps to take to get there. And who doesn't want to live their dream life? I mean, some of you may already be doing that, and that's fabulous. But this truly is a great tool to guide yourself into the life that you desire. And it's a compass when decision making. So today you'll have the opportunity to, and the time and the space to relax and tap into your dream life and understand the details. Then from there, you can ask yourself the questions in your everyday life. Is this bringing me closer or further away from my dream life? I believe you can have it all, and it's important to trust your intuition, trust your guides, and trust your vision. And so in this meditation, I'm going to guide you through very soon. I'll be asking you a series of questions and invite you to envision and embody what comes up. I encourage you to include as much detail as possible. Leave nothing out. Go all in, imagine wildly, drop deep into the heart. It's important to know what you truly desire, all of it. And just allow yourself to explore what it is you truly want. And so I'm going to ask you, like, what? Oh, hang on a second. Someone's coming in. Hello. Okay. Yeah. So engage all your senses. How does it feel? What do you want to be doing? Who do you want to be experiencing this life with? Because you are the creator of your life. You are the creator. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen if I can do that. Well, actually, I'll leave it up because I have one more slide after we're done. Okay, so let's begin. Get into a comfortable position, either seated or lying down, up to you. I'll give you a moment to do that. I invite you now to close your eyes and begin to notice your breath. Breathing in deeply and completely, and letting the thoughts in your head release with the exhale. Take another deep, nourishing breath, becoming present with this moment. Exhale, and notice what your body is touching. Perhaps it's your sit bones on the chair, or your feet on the ground. Keep breathing and notice the rise and the fall of your stomach as you breathe. And hear my voice guiding you. Just follow my voice. Now, in this safe and sacred place, I ask that only the highest and most divine original source energy expressions and beings be allowed to participate. I invite your guides, angels, cosmic and soul family, and your higher self to join us today. I also invite my guides, angels, cosmic and soul family, and my higher self to assist and participate in your journey today. And now that we are surrounded by all of our combined teams, we ask for guidance and clarity for our dream life to come through. And we ask for the most benevolent outcome. With our connection to the divine original source beings, you are safe and you are protected. And being so connected with the light of source itself, you begin to feel a warm sensation and a deep sense of knowingness that you are about to create your dream life. With each breath, this truth vibrates deeper within your body, within your bones, and your blood, and your cells. And at the same time, this connection expands your consciousness and expands your awareness. And as your awareness expands, you find it easy to just let go of it all the expectations about what might be in store for your dream life journey. You release expectations with ease and find that letting go feels peaceful. You are about to go on a dream life journey. Continue to follow my voice. I'll be right here. Imagine the space right in front of you begins to shimmer, shift, and sparkle. There's an opening, a tunnel of swirling bright, crystalline light. You know what you see is a sacred portal to your dream life. And your spirit begins to rise up and away from your human form and moves towards the light. You are floating to your dream life. It is familiar in the deepest sense, familiar to your very essence of being. In this space, there is peace and joy, presence. And as you feel yourself now in the body of your future self, living your dream life, begin to imagine this dream life and feel into it, starting with the beginning of the day. How do you feel upon awakening? When do you awaken? Are you well rested? How does your body feel? Look around. Where do you wake up? What does your room look like? What does it smell like? What are you smelling? What is in your room? Get as many details as possible. What do you see? Now examine yourself. What does your body look like? What is your body capable of doing in your dream life? What are you wearing? What do you dress yourself in? And how does it make you feel? How does your skin feel when you touch it? Your hair? Are you smiling? Who do you see when you look in the mirror? Get a good glimpse of you in this dream life. How do you spend your morning? What do you do? Do you have a morning practice? What does your morning look like, smell like, taste like? What are you eating? What are you feeling, touching? What do you hear? What are the sounds? Is there anyone else sharing this morning with you? If so, who? Who do you spend your days with? How does it feel to be with these people? What are you doing together? What do your relationships look like in your dream life? Do you have a spouse? Do you have children? Experience what it's like to be with the people in your life. Are you with relatives, business partners, or coworkers? Engage your senses and really get the details of the people who are involved with your dream life. What does your home look like? How does it feel to be in your home? See it, touch it, feel it, smell it, taste it, and hear the sounds that are rummaging through the home. What do you do during the day? Are you working? What is your day like, and what does it consist of? What do you spend your time doing? Where do you hang out during the day? What do you see yourself enjoying doing the most? What is your lifestyle like? Really get the details of your dream lifestyle. What do you see when you look out the window? How do you feel when you walk out the door? What is the nature like in your dream life? What is included in your outdoor surroundings? Are you connecting with the elements? How do you get around? What kind of transportation gets you around? Experience it now. Are you traveling in your dream life? Are you visiting and going to places all over the world? If so, where? Where are you going? What type of hobbies do you see yourself doing? How does it feel to do those things? Who are your friends? And what are they like? How does spending time with them make you feel? What do you do together? Get as detailed as possible using your senses. What causes do you care about? What would you like to support? What kind of legacy do you want to leave for your family, friends, and future generations? Now imagine and re-feel and sense everything you have experienced in your dream life going backwards from now to the beginning of this meditation. See it, sense it, and feel it all on rewind. I am going to bring you back into your physical body now. Now you are returning to your everyday awareness and consciousness, feeling yourself return now to your room and the present day and time, waking up naturally, completely, fully. You can begin to stretch, move, and open your eyes when you are ready. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back into this space. I hope you all got to experience a bit of what it's like to be in your dream life. The replay will be available, so if you want to rewatch it and write it all down, you can do that as well. Yeah, and I just want to also share some other things that I do. So if you enjoyed this, you would probably enjoy quantum healing. And I'm currently offering sessions. Actually, here's my next. I have a few things going on that I wanted to let you know about. So actually, let's start with quantum healing. So quantum healing, beyond quantum healing is what I am certified in, and it's a heart and energy based healing modality. I guide clients into a relaxed state where they're able to receive information they are seeking from their spirit team and their higher self. And I'll give you a discounted rate for showing up here. It's normally $222, but it'll be $144 for you all. And I can drop a link in the chat box in just a moment. Yeah, and so actually on Saturday too, I'm doing a movement and breathwork class. This Saturday, the 29th, from 9 to 10 a.m. Central. It's $8, and it's really cool actually. It's kind of it's like a energetic clearing and alignment. That's what I feel when I do these exercises with movement and breathwork together. And yeah, I also offer a podcast. It's called Sacred Portal. I do free YouTube workout videos. As I said earlier, I teach workouts. And movement and meditation retreat online is going to be happening soon. I believe it's either going to be the last week in February, the first week in March. I'm still in the process of determining that. And if you would like to follow me or message me or get in contact with me, you can find me on Facebook or Instagram at Abby Rose Wolf. Okay, cool. All right, I got 4 more minutes. Yes. If anybody has any questions. Oh, cool. Thanks, Joe. I'm glad you had a great experience. And here's a link to where you can sign up for the Zoom class on Saturday and also the BQH sessions in the chat box. Does anybody have any questions or would like to share their experience? That'd be nice to hear. And we have a few more minutes before Carlin presents.
Abby, I absolutely love that. Your voice is like chocolate to my ears, which is a very special gift to have. I do listen to podcasts every night before I go to sleep, sort of calming, meditative, whatever I'm up to. And honestly, I could listen to that every night without getting bored. It was really lovely. And sometimes I meditate a lot, and sometimes I struggle because my mind's very, very busy. I was in that from the start to the end, so thank you. Yes, I'm still floating around in my apartment overlooking the ocean, wearing a white chiffon dress.
I love it. I love it.
It's amazing. I pictured every detail. It was fantastic.
Wow, thank you so much. Do you know that's
Thank you.
interesting? Whenever I envision it too, I'm wearing white and it's the ocean.
Yes.
Like it's I feel like there's going to be a bunch of women living together near the ocean and we're just like all
Yes.
dancing around in white and just
Let's do
loving
it.
life. Like I think that's the new
I
earth, you know what
think
I'm
that's
saying?
the answer. Do you know what, though? I have to add, because of Carolyn, I follow you enormously, as you know, and your new journey right now. And what I was envisaging was actually what I think your life is right now. So good on you.
Totally. That's
Thank
so
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll get if anybody wants to share, or I guess it's probably time we can move. Yeah, we can move on. And yes, Carlin, tell us about surrendering. This is such an important topic.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, everyone who's live, to those who are catching the replay. I just want to add that, yes, my current life is definitely the result of doing a lot of this quantum work. Thank you, Abby, for sharing that really powerful meditation. I'm actually in Mexico on the ocean right now since November. So I hope my internet connection, it's not the best. So I hope there isn't too much of a lag for you all. And I was also going to do a little shake movement, but thank you, Abby, for doing that in between the first two presenters. If anyone wants to just take like a nice inhale and exhale, that beautiful meditation, just to kind of release and recirculate our energy in our body. So just a nice deep inhale through the nose, exhale out the mouth, or sigh it out, or flutter out the lips. If you want to do another one or two, go for it. Any neck rolls, you just kind of squeeze your shoulders up to your ears and then drop away any tension. All right. So my name is Carlin, and I'm a surrender specialist. And no, I never set out to be a surrender specialist by any means. I'm actually a former wildlife conservation professional. So I lived and worked all over the world with coral reefs, sea turtles, in Africa with the iconic African wildlife. And that was always my passion and my first love. And I considered myself very much a person who led, my life from my heart and my passions. And then in June of 2019, I lost my husband to suicide, my soulmate, someone who really saw and got me on the deepest soul level. And it, of course, an event like that will just shatter your perceptions, make you rebuild, recreate, reevaluate. What is my purpose? What am I doing here? Is what I'm doing really in alignment? And at the time, as you move up in the wildlife conservation field, you're more at a desk and you're doing more of the administrative, taking care of the team. And you become more, I would say I was living from a place of a lot of anxiety and overwhelm. I never felt like I could tick off all of my to-do lists at work, much less then come home. And so it just, reiterated this need to want to control and plan to put those things in place. But the more I did that and the more I tried really planning and figuring things out, the more tension and the more strain was created. So through this entire, now 2 years, 7 months plus, actually really before my husband Cam passed, this was already kind of a little bit of a realization that work is stressing me out. getting up feeling anxious. And I didn't at the time pinpoint that it was really coming from a place of overgiving, not valuing myself, and being a people pleaser. And I think a lot of us have these, we're really hard on ourselves. We're our own worst critic. And so when you get that from the outside world too, it's just like you can feel really slammed by the mounting demands and pressures of life, and really wanting to support and nurture and be those things for your loved ones and your team and your community, but then really not taking care of yourself in the process, which then, if you can't take care of yourself, you really can't take care of your job, your family, your community, those who you love the most around you in your life. So I'm now a spiritual life coach, and I guide overwhelmed, ambitious, kind of overachievers, who live in this state of people pleasing, perfectionism, and bring them back to themselves, to access what it's like to release that need to control and plan and figure things out, and live more in a place of flowing and being in fluidity versus, that resistance to life. So a lot of my clients actually come to me with this desire to, because I'm a very open-hearted person, I really love sharing, vulnerably, taking people on my journey with me. So a lot of people approach me with just wanting to live more from their passions and their desires. And what ends up happening is that in the process, they gain, in addition to tapping into their true soul's desires, this ability to kind of see more clearly the difference between their ego's voice and their soul's voice, and to really work with identifying, discerning, and navigating those two voices, because we can live in this state of conflict of, well, I want to do this, but then ego wants to keep us safe and protect us. And it's really just working from a limited perspective of what it's seen in the past, what it's experienced before. And therefore, our soul is just kind of like, okay, and let, ego and the fears that come up around ego be in the driver's seat. They often also end up healing by uncovering and really working with transmuting and transforming the energies that are within our subconscious, because we operate 90 to 95% of our thoughts, words, and actions stem from the subconscious. So it's really bringing that subconscious world into our conscious and learning how to work with those. And if we don't really uncover them, they'll just always be there, kind of dictating how we're living in the world. And then what I really also love seeing, and what was probably the best part of my journey, is the unintentional just coming back to full self-love and self-trust, and how that opened this portal to so many other possibilities in life, particularly, in that connection to yourself, uncovering, the unseen support that we have all around us. And I was someone who was, meditating since the late 90s, early 2000s in college, teaching yoga for now 12 years. So this wasn't new to my world, but I was still, having to use my tools every single day just to keep, from not drowning. It's like just keeping me afloat instead of thriving. And it was just like, well, how do I have all of these tools, and I've been doing this for decades, but I'm still just really stuck in this kind of overwhelm. And so this newfound freedom, this is why I'm really passionate about sharing with other people, is because I really want to see people living more from a place of the soul and the expansiveness and the abundance that comes from it, instead of from, these limiting beliefs that we don't even realize we're operating from. So we can utilize the chat box for this part, but when I came to the word surrender, it wasn't really even intentional. And when I recently, just reviewed what it means, like a Google dictionary search, I think there are different nuances around the word of surrender. And I think when I first learned it as a child, when I kind of went back and revisited that, it was more like, oh, well, it's like throwing in the towel, or it's, waving the white flag of I give in, I give up. Like almost a giving up of your power. And the way I see surrender now is actually that you're giving into your own personal power and identifying, where am I giving my power away to external sources instead of having the power right here? Because I truly inherently believe we have all the tools we need within us already. And that no guru, nobody is here to save us. There's nothing to be saved from. It's, utilizing teachers or mentors or soul family, our spirit team. They just help mirror back to us and show us things in our blind spots that we would miss on our own, or in the moments that we kind of fall back into the patterns of the ego. I would just love to hear what comes up for you when you hear the word surrender. Feel free to kind of type it out. If those of you on the phone, I know it's harder. So if you want to just unmute yourself and jump in and share what surrender means to you. I know it is a word that's kind of being thrown around in the coaching and spiritual world as well. And I think there are probably other coaches and spiritual leaders who have a different personal experience and take on surrender. Without attachment, that is really powerful, Melissa. Yeah, that reminds me a lot of Buddhism, really that freedom, that equanimity that comes from the freedom from attachment as well as aversion. Freedom. Absolutely, Joe. Joe is one of my yoga teachers too from Zanzibar. So I just want to point out, like, she's been one of my teachers and a big inspiration on my path. So thank you for being here, Joe. Oh, reduce expectations. Cindy, that is so beautifully said, because the more we have, and I'll probably get into this a little bit more, but one of the ways that our ego works is because it only really has the vision of what it's seen or experienced before, it puts these blinders on us so that our scope of what's possible becomes really funneled. And our soul wants us to see, like, actually there's infinite possibilities and there are infinite timelines that are happening right now. And so how can we choose a different timeline of living and experiencing? So thank you everyone for sharing kind of your personal. Oh, Lush, is that you unmuting?
Yes, I'm on my phone, so I can't type, but I just have to tell you all, everything is so coming together for me in this. As I thought about the wood, and then as I went through the guided imagery, which I absolutely loved, then I found myself in the woods with a barn, working with wood. And listen to the serendipity of this. So as you know, because we're family, I've been working on barns with my son, Mac. This morning, I had a chat with Mac about working on more barns. And listen, I've been putting so many blockades up in myself because I'm in my 70s and I'm like, am I strong enough? My knees are wonky. And I'm like, hell yes, let's go. I mean, this whole thing. And so surrender to the woods, surrender to the barns, just go to my joy. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Lucia. Lucia's my second mom. So she was my late husband's mom, and she'll always be my second mom. And Linda says, I surrender to love. Wow, just listen and feel into that statement. If we all just woke up saying, I surrender to love and choose love over fear, how would we lead our day? That I have truth bumps. Thank you for sharing that, Linda.
Darling, should I ask my question or should I wait? I've just got such a burning question. So, and again, Lucia, taking the words out of my mouth, but I'm 54 tomorrow. And so I'm no spring chicken anymore. But, you know, and I've got some degenerative issues in my bones, in my spine, that have really changed the course of my life recently, so really transitioning. And thank you. And I still am, by the way, very carefree and free spirited, and I've always sort of followed my heart and taken chances, and when a door's open, I've gone through it, just fearless. But the older I'm getting, the more I feel like I can't surrender. I'm feeling emotional saying this because it's a big thing right now. You know, there's a part of me that just wants to buy a camper van and just go off and live in it. And then there's a sensible part of me, sensible ego perhaps, that's like, okay, Joe, you're in your 50s. What about your retirement? I don't have any inheritance, you know, I have to think about my future. So it's that. So I feel that no, I'm not fully surrendering myself at all right now. I'm actually thinking of financials, which is something I've never done in my entire life. So I don't know, does that, maybe that resonates with people? Or yeah, that's my issue.
Yeah, that's such a powerful question because there is definitely that, you know, that sounds like the very rational brain coming in that's really dictated. The volume of your soul is being dimmed by the volume of your ego. And I think also in the society that we've been nurtured in is that there's limitations and that, you know, there's only so much like X to go around instead of this inherent infinite abundance that the universe provides for us. And when we're in alignment with our soul, things drop in because the universe, source, energy, God, however you want to, you know, view this divine connection that we have, is the ego is the disconnector, and it, you know, ruptures that inherent connection that we have. So first of all,
I totally get I totally get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I'm just reading a message. My kidney essence, yes, maybe I'm going to chat to you another time about all of this. But yeah, there's still that I've just become fearful, I think, because we have to think about ourselves when we get older, who will look after us. We need to have enough to look after ourselves. It's frightening to just go, oh, sod it, I'm going to just go and, you know, do this. Like, there is that sensible element coming in that I never used to have. I'm not recognizing myself through this sensible element, but I don't know.
Well, I would love to have a chat with you at some
We
point
will.
after this. I think we should jump on a call because I think there's a lot of goodies to work with in here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, what we're seeing in the world is just this shattering of limitations by some people, but then sometimes it's hard to say, well, can I do that too? Is that really possible for me? So like, for example, in my surrender method, we really go and peel back some of these deep down, you know, that might be in inner child work, or it might, you know, potentially even in kind of past life traumas, work with, you know, what's in our energetic system, what are we carrying that is no longer of service for this lifetime and for the evolution of humanity and for the sustainability of the planet, because we all know that we're operating in these capitalistic systems that are, they're not sustainable. It's because they're based on the premise that everything is, that we can just extract and extract and extract
Yeah.
without any replenishment.
And exactly. And so when I mention money, that I'm also, I know all of that. It's like, and I'm in London, by the way, everybody. So I'm really in it. So yeah. Yeah, we'll talk. There's a reason why you and I have stayed connected. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, like, I just honor what you're able to show up for and recognizing yourself in that awareness, because the awareness and the ability to recognize and vocalize it, that in itself is such a powerful tool. And,
thank you.
And to not dissociate it and go out of your body, because a lot of us disconnect from our body.
Yeah.
And we're very much connected. All the work you've done to stay connected to your body as well through the challenges.
Because like Lucia, I have a very big toolbox. I even always use that phrase. What's in the toolbox? What do I need today? Thank you.
Yeah.
And what I would say is some of the unexpected aspects of, so the way I view surrender is more of this journey and like an experience. It's not by no means a destination. And in my own personal journey and a lot of the people I work with and a lot of my like spiritual friends and soul family find that we end up having a lot of these deep-seated lack of worthiness stories, or not being good enough, or feeling like based on the system around us, we have to earn rest. For example, I can only rest if I've done A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z, because we're living in an exhausting system right now. And we're only allowed, treats if we've, worked out 5 days in a row. It's like we put these conditions on, and instead of just coming back to our inherent divinity, our inherent connection to source, divinity, to that infinite abundance, unconditional love, unwavering support, constant conspiring for our highest and greatest good. What would life feel like if we just tapped into that truth? That in itself, that's one of my daily prayers and something I work with in my coaching, is that this work around self-doubt, self-love, and self-trust can't be done until we've really owned, not just accepted and claimed our worthiness, but really owned our worthiness to be however we are, that whatever we're experiencing, whatever feelings we're undergoing are valid. And it's not to say that, we need to get stuck in them and mull them over and drown in them, but that awareness first, and then knowing how to work with them and transmute them. So I do a lot of work with, energetics, discerning, what is mine? What am I carrying that's not mine from my environment, from the people around me? And how can we clear and cleanse our own energy and discern, daily practices like that, grounding, movement, and somatics, because we can't solve our problems, mental problems, through our mind. It's actually through our body that helps release and work through them. And and again, just really tapping into that powerful truth that we have everything within us already that we need for whatever comes into our life. Tapping into our spirit team too. I think this is something that I didn't really work with until about 3 years ago. I kind of knew the concept of, and I had, met one of my spirit guides in a meditation, but I still didn't utilize or call upon that team that's always around and has so much support, and ask them for signs, because they're always there and they're like, help, like, we want to help, but you have free will, so you have to ask for help. Reach out, like, we want to jump in. And so a lot of the work that I do also is how to understand your way, your unique way of receiving signs and information and communication, not just, outsourcing our power to spirit team, but our higher self. Because any divinities that we're working with, their ultimate goal should be really connecting us to our highest self and our soul. And that's what brings us into alignment. So they're there to help orchestrate that. I just want to say briefly, I've developed my own surrender method, which consists of 3 parts called Explore Wildly, Connect Deeply, and Awaken Consciously. And I use this both in my one-on-one coaching containers, as well as I have a brand new, small, intimate portal. I'd like to call it like an immersion. It's a 6-month immersion to bringing more ease and really living from a new frequency in life. So in terms of, if you want to be more in my field or learn more, just interact, engage, because I don't like to be seen as like, oh, I'm teacher, and it's not this hierarchy, it's this give and take, and really like what channels through what is needed for your highest and greatest good in any given moment. That I lead free weekly meditations on Monday on IGTV Live, free IGTV Live mini trainings on Fridays. Tomorrow I will not be doing that because this is taking the place. And I'm also opening up 5 free clarity call sessions for people who just want a little more guidance in their life. What are the next best aligned actions? What you're working through, not necessarily to, book a session with me or book a program with me, but just really help get some clarity on, what you're working through, what are you moving through, and what could best support you in the immediate next steps. So what I desire for everyone is just to be able to reprioritize ourselves and that inherent worthiness that we have to do that, to feel less resistance as we move through life, so that life doesn't have to feel so, forced. Because when we allow it and when we surrender, it gets to be easy and it gets to be so much less, effort based. And then our whole nervous system undergoes a shift in less tension, more ease. We're living more from our parasympathetic system, so we're more regulated. But when we do swing off, we know how to come back and regulate ourselves. We know how to return to self-compassion. So I think there was another question. Lucia, did you have another question, or if anyone wanted to comment or share?
I just had a comment to share, Carlin. I'm so lucky because I could get your advice anytime I want because you're my daughter. But I want to tell you that I am encouraging people that I know, especially those who are in the thick of things, in the wild circle of life with children and a career, and oh my goodness, I'm encouraging them to contact you and to consider signing with you to be their coach. And the reason is I gained so much from what you have shared with me. I know there are a lot of really great adjectives I could use, but I would just say it makes a difference to me. I'll give you an example. Recently, you had a group event in which you pulled some cards, and you pulled the card for me about play. And I know it wasn't just you saying, Lucia, you should play. I know it was you being the vehicle. But I have to tell you, man, talk about surrender and talk about freedom. I mean, yesterday I was scrubbing on an old bathtub from my mother-in-law, and it took me about 4 hours and lots of elbow grease. And I was like, yes, Carlin, this is so much fun. It's play. I don't know how to explain how intuitive. or to explain to people how intuitive you are, how giving you are, and how you connect with people. I mean, just look at your face. We're just connecting right now, girl. So that's all I wanted to say.
Aw, well, thank you. Well, we do have another minute, and I was actually going to pull a card for us all, just a collective card from the Ancient Animal Wisdom deck. So it's African animals. I know the gal who created it in Zambia. It's actually the first oracle card deck I ever worked with. And we'll see what message pops out. Always with the intention that this message is conveyed for our highest and greatest good. Ooh, and it's card number 28, if anyone resonates with numbers. It's the wildebeest.
Wildebeest.
So let me pull up what that means. Oh, Nyumba. Oh, this is a good one. Travel. Wildebeest says it's time to go. It's time for a clean break, a fresh start, or a change in location, because abundance and renewal are just around the corner. Joe, maybe you needed this card. We'll have to talk.
And it's the 28th tomorrow, which is my birthday, the 28th.
Oh my gosh, this is too divine. Perhaps you've reached your peak or exhausted your resources in your current position, and it's time to embrace something new. Wildebeest encourages new beginnings on your journey ahead toward renewal. Use your intuition and life's desires to guide you on this divine exploration. Your future glows with the potential of the bright days that lie ahead. Energetically.
I'm so excited too, because I want to fly to London to meet Joe. Yay!
Oh, Lucia, I would absolutely love to meet you. I'm just so glad that you're here. It's really just amazing.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I will drop my Instagram handle, as well as, you've probably all seen my email, because that's where the Zoom link was generated. But I'll just be sharing the replay link through the Flowdesk email system. I'll also be sharing with everyone who signed up to catch either the live or the replay, my offer for the 5 free clarity calls. And another just last thing that's dropping in is, January, we are all hoping for a fresh new start. And if you felt like the first several weeks or still are feeling a little bit in the trenches, a little bit murky and muddy, the energetics and the stars are really saying that this was a month to turn inward, which is why we really wanted to bring everyone together to reground, come back to our center, share our tools. Because in February, it really feels like there's going to be a huge shift and a momentum building, and things are going to kind of take off. So we want you all grounded and rooted now, so that as things kind of pop into place and you like flowing with the momentum, you've got this anchoring already established. And I know we have several more days until the end of the month. And I think the peak of that real energetic change is kind of towards the end of February, early March. So if you want more flow support though, jump on a free clarity call. I'm only offering 5. And I just want to thank all of my lovely soul fam friends, Abby, Morgan, and Emily, for sharing this day with us all. It's been a true, it's really our purpose and our pleasure to be bringing in community from all of our different spheres and to be sharing. And I think this is the connection we're all seeking, especially after nearly 2 years of a global pandemic, is that like true connection, of course, to ourselves, but to others who see, hear, and help cheerlead us on this path as more of what our soul's craving.
Yeah.
So if any of you three other ladies wanted to say anything to close before we wrap up. All right, well, just so much gratitude for you all being here, for bringing in your energy, your questions, and devoting 2 hours of your life to really, this self-inquiry and expansion, other soul connections. I love it.
Beautiful.
Just thank you. Just thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day and night.
Bye.